wonderful session on challenges of sustainability and peace for people and planet. The reason for this is that unfortunately I have to leave and be on my way to a bilateral meeting with the minister at 9:30, and so I couldn't sit for the panel. And how do we begin our discussion of challenges of sustainability and peace? I think we have to do what one of my fellow elders, Juan Manuel Santos, said. He was president of Colombia. He made peace with the FARC, and he made peace also with nature. And that was his message to us as elders some time ago when he joined us, that we have to make peace with nature. And I didn't fully understand what he meant until I was lucky enough. But in 2019, the summer of 2019, so just before COVID, I went on a scientific expedition to Greenland. And on the second last day, we went by a small boat, quite a remote area, and stayed overnight in some huts. And then the following morning, the sun was shining. It was 19 degrees Celsius. It was August 2019. 19 degrees Celsius in Greenland. It seemed strange. And the organizer said, "Now, please go on your own, because I want you to listen to the glacier." We were beside a huge glacier. And others went and sat on rocks and found a place on their own. And I was lucky, being one of the older ones, I sat on a nice bench just outside where we were. And I felt the heat on my Irish skin. I was sorry I hadn't got sun lotion with me. And I started to listen to the glacier. And as it calved, it was like thunder. And then sometimes it was like rifle shots, small pieces falling off. It was very, very strange. And then, after a while, I found myself crying because I knew this wasn't right. I knew what we were doing wasn't right. This glacier should not be calving in this heavy, disproportionate way. It wasn't natural. And that was my first time really, in my terms, making peace, meaning feeling so much part of nature that I was crying with nature. I was crying because nature was disproportionately carving a beautiful glacier. It shouldn't be happening in that way. And that, I think, is part of what we have to understand in making peace with nature. Another great friend of mine from the past, who did wonderful work in Kenya, Wangari Maathai, taught me also about peace and nature. You remember she got the Nobel Prize for Peace for her work and her courage at the time in Kenya, in planting trees and in stopping the despoiling of forests, which was happening at the time in Kenya. And I remember as High Commissioner for Human Rights, she came to the UN, and I told her, because I was in charge of the session, Wangari, you have 5 minutes. She started, and after about 8 minutes, I said, Wangari, Mary, I have something to say. She went on beautifully for about 20 minutes, and she was right. She had something to say, and it was all about we must make peace with nature, we must understand how we live sustainably. And I think this panel will help us to fully appreciate the way in which we as humans must respect the ecosystems that sustain us, as well as caring about leaving no one behind, as this conference has emphasized. And so the more we can make that peace with nature, feel part of nature, understand that we must live sustainably with nature, the more I believe we will have peace, and the two will go in hand. So thank you for this opportunity to address you, and I hope that the panel will bring forward some of these thoughts and build on them, and that the session will show the importance of addressing the challenges and the role of diverse voices, in particular religious and spiritual voices, in this debate. Obrigada. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Robbins. We thank you so much. Muito obrigada, Mary Robbins, por estar aqui conosco e nos inspirar. And I would now like